If you're looking to reduce your use of plastic, you'll love how easy it is to make your own reusable beeswax wraps. Start by cutting the fabric so that it lays flat on your baking sheet. Don't worry about getting perfectly straight edges at this point, as you'll be trimming the fabric later. Lay the fabric, pattern side up, on a foil-lined baking sheet and sprinkle with beeswax pellets. Place the pan in a preheated 200-degree oven and check after 5 minutes. Once all of the pellets are melted, they will look clear and liquid. Open the oven door and use your paintbrush to brush the melted pellets evenly all over the fabric. Return the pan to the oven for another minute and remove. Carefully lift the fabric from the pan and wave gently to cool. Once cooled, use pinking shears to trim the edges of the fabric. This will prevent fraying, and cut the wraps to whatever size you like. Your wraps are now ready to use. Large wraps are perfect for covering bowls and platters. The warmth from your hands will soften the wrap so you can fold the edges onto themselves to secure. Square wraps can be folded to create envelopes for holding cookies or small snacks. Fold the square in half and take the two opposing points and fold them in toward each other. Open the top, insert your snack, and roll to seal. Small and medium-sized wraps can be used to store hard cheeses, fruits, and cut vegetables. To clean your wraps, use cool water and soap and allow to air dry.
Would you believe this thrifted men's shirt became two completely unique home decor pieces? First up, the thrifted frame. I used the back of the shirt, cut it to the size of the frame, and attached it with hot glue. Then I trimmed off the excess fabric and made an X cut in the center so I could wrap the fabric around the inside edges for a clean, finished look. For the lamp, I wanted to highlight the button section of the shirt, so I cut the fabric to fit the shade, keeping that button detail in place. Using hot glue, I secured the fabric along the top and bottom edges, then worked my way around, adjusting the fabric to make sure it fits smoothly before trimming the extra fabric. Now, what once was a basic shirt has been transformed into two custom decor pieces. This just proves that great patterns shouldn't be limited to clothes. Sometimes they're meant to shine in your home too.
I found some boots from my local Walmart, and all we're gonna do is just run out a length of this. We're gonna snip it off. So I'm gonna just take that wire and feed it through that hole that's already there. Take the two ends and just simply secure them around. So I'm gonna use that sunflower bush, and all we're gonna do is take that stem and kind of give it a slight bend. And then all we're gonna do is put that inside the boot. We can take those stems and kind of bend them so they have that waterfall graceful effect, and then we can just lift up the bush and work in some extra greenery. Now I have some burlap ribbon, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back in with one loop and two loops. Then what we're gonna do is come back in with one final loop. This is known as a button loop, and it's just to finish off our bow tie. Secure it with a little piece of wire, and then we have a cute little bow tie. So to finish the ends of this ribbon, we're gonna take them, and we can do one of two things. We can cut them at an angle. Now all I'm gonna do is take that end of the wire, figure out where I wanna place my bow.
Grab some rubber boots. First, you need to drill a few holes in the bottom of your boots. Start by filling up your boots with potting soil. Then, after dividing the daffodils, place them inside the boot. Pour more potting soil on top to cover up the bulbs. Place outside on the porch or wherever you would like. Be sure to give them a thorough watering after planting.
What do old blue jeans and organization have in common? The answer might surprise you. For this project, I first went to the thrift store and headed straight to the clothing section. I rifled through the pants and found the perfect pair of dark blue jeans that were 50% off, making them only $3. I started by cutting the small front pocket, making sure to only cut the front layer of the jeans. Then I turned the jeans over and removed the 2 back pockets and all the loops. Once everything was removed, I trimmed the excess fabric from the pockets and loops. The frame of the corkboard came with a slight finish on it, so I used some 220 grit sandpaper to quickly sand that finish off. I wanted to start over with bare wood. I used a clean microfiber cloth to remove the dust, then stained the frame with 2 coats of stain in the color Golden Pecan. Once the stain was fully dry, I sealed the wood with a wipe-on poly and again allowed the frame to dry. First, I measured the inner portion of the corkboard, which was 21 3/4 inches long by 15 3/4 inches wide. Then, using my rotary cutter and the mat, I cut the fabric to size, 21 3/4 inches long by 15 3/4 inches wide. Once the fabric was cut, I squeezed some fabric glue onto the top third of the corkboard, then spread it evenly with a foam brush. Then I lined the fabric up with the cork portion and applied it to the board, making sure to smooth out any wrinkles. Then I repeated that process for the last 2/3 of the board. Once the fabric was secured, I used a flat tool to push any excess fabric under the wooden frame for a more seamless look. The next day, I first attached the hanging hooks that came with the board to the back of the wooden frame. I flipped the board over and started playing with the position of the jean pockets. Once I was happy with the placement, I used some gold pins I got on Amazon to secure them to the board. Then it was time to decorate with my kids' trinkets, medals, and ribbons from school, and some souvenirs they got on a recent trip. Now my kids have a super cute organizer for their room that can grow with them. I hope this tutorial inspired you to get creative with some old jeans to make your very own blue jean organizer. Thanks so much for watching Home Talk, and I'll see you next time.